say, I gave you all my details. I gave you date, time, place, everything.
Yeah.
What do you got?
What do you got for me? What do you got?
I gotta, what do you see in my life? What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Melissa Gorga on Display. You guys know I talk to you all the time about how I throw this big Halloween party, and it's like the party of the year. Everybody wants the invite. Well, guess what Melissa Gorga did this year? Canceled it. I canceled the party because I'm so stressed out with the move into the new house right now and just like everything in shambles. We're doing landscaping, this, that, the other thing that I'm like, sometimes you just have to say no. Like I have so much on my plate and I canceled it. I know. I feel like it's the worst news ever. My friends are pissed, by the way. But I decided I'm going to do like a holiday party instead. It's really something I don't normally do, but I think I'd be very good at that because I put up like 7 Christmas trees. So I think I'm going to try that, but that's just for this year. We're going to go back to our regular scheduled programming next year. I'm going to throw my Halloween party. Besides for that, I just want to say that the Melisseners are really taking off out there. So thank you to all the Melisseners. Keep DMing me with everything, on display because I'm loving reading it. I love listening to your husbands, like watch it and do their laundry and listen to On Display. Like that's amazing to me. This is like great contact. Also, I need to give a shout out to Bree Poole, who, DM'd me her gorgeous, cute little daughter, like singing and dancing to the theme song of this podcast. So stay tuned. We're going to give you a little surprise later. All right. I am actually super excited about this because if you know me, I'm very into this stuff. You guys are going to know him for his weekly horoscopes in Cosmo. He's a best-selling author, the host of Good Risings podcast, and he's one of the most trusted astrologers out there. You can also see him on his new show, Written in the Stars. It's out this November. Ladies and gentlemen, I have Mr. Colin Bedell today. Hi.
Hi, Melissa. It's an honor to be talking to you. So shortly after the full moon in Aries, I want to talk to an Aries influenced person and see how the lunation is affecting you.
Oh my God. See, so I am so curious. I'm very into it, by the way, just so you know, this is all the like astrology. I won't say that I'm very seasoned or
that's
that
okay.
like I have a lot of facts and that's what you're here for. But I want to know. So what did you just say to me? Explain that to me.
Right. You're like, what is this? What language? Well, also
Yes.
too, astrology is so loaded, Melissa, that like, it's okay. It's such a big and vast conversation. We're all doing the best we can with it. So once a year, we have an annual full moon in our zodiac sign, right? So like Aries season is typically March 20th or March 21st, depending on the year, and lasts all month. And then the full moon in Aries is 6 months later in your half birthday, right?
Okay.
And so when the sun is in Aries, it's all about Aries stepping forward and starting new things and beginning new dreams. And then when it's the full moon in Aries, it's actually all about completion. It's all about things that need to be ended so that when 6 months from now, Aries season begins, theoretically, you're going to be ready than ever, if that makes sense. So every year, our zodiac sign gets an annual full moon, and it's all about healing and completion.
Only the Aries sign? Is it just the Aries?
Once a month, there's a full moon in a particular zodiac sign, right? Like on November 8th, there's going to be the full moon in Taurus, right? So once a year, it's a full moon. Okay. But we get ours around the opposite sign season. So like your opposite sign is Libra. So Libra season is right now. And that's why we have a full moon in Aries, because it's the opposite sign. So it's all about balance. It's all about integration. Yeah.
Is it about change? So is that's happening to me right now? Is that what you're saying?
Yes. And because you are in Aries and we have some really strong transits happening for and through Aries, it's all about change. It's all about new vision. It's about freedom, independence, and autonomy in a different way, because that's what Aries stands for, is a zodiac sign that's like not afraid to stand alone and not afraid to be in independence, right? Which is hard for a lot of people. And so that's why we lean on Aries to help us see how it's done.
Wow. Well, let me just tell you, whenever I read anything about my sign or like who an Aries is, when I tell you it's me,
Through
to
and
a
through.
T. Like it's actually crazy to me. I'm like, that's me. That is, and I'm like the
Uh,
first day of Aries because I'm
yes,
the
you are.
21st, right?
Yes, 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 yes. I was going to tell you that, which is super cool. You were born on the first day of spring, the first day of Aries, and astrologers love that because when you're in Aries, like you're already kind of the first, but when you're born on the first day of Aries season, it's just an extra oomph. It adds some extra judge to it. Yeah.
Yeah, it makes me like a really like all Aries.
All
It's going
Aries,
through my
girl.
veins. I feel it going. And I have to be honest, it's not a bad sign for a girl. When I'm reading it, it's very nurturing to children, great moms,
Totally.
boss, in charge, loves to be the center of attention,
Come
fun
on.
girl. I'm like,
Come
this is
on.
all me.
I mean, what's wrong with that? And you're an amazing company, Melissa. Lady Gaga, Mariah Carey, Aretha Franklin, Diana Ross, Gloria Steinem, Shaka Khan, Celine Dion. Yeah, so the gays
Yes.
love Aries women, as speaking on behalf of gays. And
Yeah,
I know
like
we
I'm
love
with all
you.
the
So
greats. I love it.
come
I fit
on.
right in. I fit right
A
in.
thousand percent. 1,000%. So hopefully you're feeling that push to kind of complete what needs to be completed, wrap up loose ends, and start new things in an effort to prepare yourself for the next 6 months.
Well, I can't say exactly what's happening, but can I tell you that is exactly what's happening? Like I
Okay,
am
I trust
literally
that.
wrapping something huge up
Perfect.
about entered a whole new thing,
Perfect.
getting myself organized and like
Yes.
refocusing. It's so crazy. That's literally what I'm doing.
Oh, I love that. And as an astrologer, that's what we're looking for when we're doing readings or when we're talking to people is like, does the client's life match up with the divine timing that astrology intends for them? Does that make sense? Right?
Yes.
Because we
Yes.
sort of have a good sense of like what the schedule is for the client when we have their birth chart. And when the client reflects without them even knowing that they're already doing what the astrology intends them to do, we get the joy to sort of say, hey, congratulations, keep doing that. You have a strong intuition, and whatever you are completing and whatever you're beginning will probably be really successful because it's aligned with the schedule in the chart.
Okay. I love it. So when does this part end and it goes into like March 21st? Is that when it ends?
That's when this completion theme ends, correct? And
Got
then
it.
honestly, Melissa, all like the first half of 2023 has Aries success written all over it. It doesn't take a nosedive or anything after that, but it's just like a
Okay,
condensed.
good.
I know. I
That's
was like,
good
let
to
me
know.
just preface this. I know for all the Aries listening that the first 6 months has your success written all over it. Yeah. And it happens once every 11 years. So this is a pretty rare but relatively frequent opportunity period.
Oh,
So
wow.
if I were you, I would take just a lot of audacious, courageous, brave risks towards stepping into all of the things that provide you with freedom, a sense of independence, and full aliveness. Because that's really what Aries is here to teach us is like, what does it mean to be fully alive? What does it mean for us to be fully excited and connected and vibrant? That's all Aries.
Wow. Well, I'm going to dive into all of that. So shout out to all the Aries out there. This
Yeah,
is our time. We need
that's
to
your time,
live right
baby.
now. Okay. So is that for men and women? Is it the
Oh
same?
yeah, all
Okay.
Aries. And actually anybody who has Aries in their astrology chart, right? So your sun sign is just a fraction of your whole astrological story. It's incredibly important, right? But there's a lot of other dimensions to you, okay? And so people listening might have Aries in their chart and they're like, why do I connect to these themes? But I wasn't born between March 20th and, April 22nd. That's because they might have Aries in their astrology and it relates to them too. So they could find that
Wow.
out if they just go on any like free astrology chart calculator software and determine where Aries is in their chart.
All right. So let me ask you this, because this is
Okay.
always a question I have. Is
Sure.
it true that certain signs do make a match together? So
Ooh,
when
great
they say
question.
like, oh my God, I can't be with a Libra, they don't work for me. Or like a Leo, for instance, Joe and I are a Leo and an Aries.
Yes, yes.
Fire, fire, fire. Like
Fire,
it's
fire,
like,
fire,
is
baby.
this true with relationships? Talk to me a little bit about like relationships.
Well, I'm so glad you asked because that really is the cornerstone of my work. I'm also getting trained as like a couples coach, so I love using astrology as like a lens for greater understanding. So yes, but to your
Wow.
point,
Okay.
actually, there's no single right answer. I actually believe that every single zodiac sign can learn to be compatible with every single zodiac sign.
Okay.
Because I'll tell you what, Melissa, like when you look at your astrological chart, and this is true for everybody, right? Every single zodiac sign is present there. And so when we say, oh, I'm an Aries and I can't do Taurus, or I'm a Gemini and I can't do Virgo, you're actually distancing yourself from something that is there for a reason. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
Right? Like the zodiac has all 12 zodiac signs. And so there might be a particular tension that this zodiac sign is here to teach you, right? And we don't love it, but it could be really helpful and instructive. So I caution people to, when they're looking at astrology, not go into it with, oh, I would never get along well with this one, right? And actually ask, like, is there something that this sign is here to teach me that I haven't quite yet wrapped my head and heart around? Right. And then, of course, like if you're in the same element as you are with Joe and Sagittarius, or you three are the fire signs, naturally there's going to be an affinity towards each other. And then sometimes there could be conflict too, you know? So there's never, you know, an easy breezy, beautiful cover girl relationship dynamic. But I do encourage people to go in with an open mind and let the dynamic teach you something that you didn't know before meeting that person or connecting with that person.
Okay, I like that. So that's like your forte. You're really great with like relationships and helping people understand their signs in a relationship.
Well, I'd like to believe that's true.
I'm like, because that would be some type of like, you know, stuff that we don't know then, right? So like, okay,
it helps. Go ahead.
But you study that. That's what you, okay, good.
Yeah, I'm being trained right now by relational life therapy. So Bruce Springsteen, speaking of Jersey, his couples therapist, Terrence Real, started a training institute called Relational Life Therapy. And I'm getting certified in his methodology. And I love it because they welcome anybody who does astrology or spirituality. So he was really encouraging of like me providing a level of astrological insight. And then his tips and techniques help me in my readings and in my compatibility sessions to sort of tell people who are interested in astrology, don't go in with a preconceived notion that just because you're this sign and your partner is that sign means you're fundamentally doomed to incompatibility or divorce. That's not actually true. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that makes sense. I mean, see, it gets deep for me. Like it can get very deep, astrology. It's like it's a conversation. It makes me want to light a candle here in my office.
Light a candle. Come on, fire
like
sign.
It feels like I just feel like we're it's almost like food for the soul for me. Like I enjoy it. I truly do. And it like,
I can tell.
It's soothing.
Oh, wait, that makes me happy.
I have other questions.
Hopefully we'll have answers. We'll see.
Okay. So a lot of my friends, I have one particular, shout out to Dawn. It's like
Dawn.
Mercury's in retrograde or whatever. What does this mean? That you can't sign a paper, you can't make big decisions, you can't. I don't understand what this means.
Yes. So I'm so glad you asked. Well, shout out to Dawn for providing us with, advances. I'm from Long Island. So when I hear
we call
Jersey
it Dawn.
Girls, right. I know. I'm like, what's the difference? I don't know. But so Mercury retrogrades 3 to 4 times a year. And so what it essentially asks us to do is really just make sure that we are completing and following through on commitment before starting something else. Because it's so easy for us to say yes and, begin things and then lose steam halfway and get a little unsure. And so we kind of like forget about it and put it to the back of the closet and then hope to God it'll just disappear. Right. So Mercury retrograde is actually, again, an opportunity period for us to slow down, follow through on our commitments and walk the talk with greater integrity. Yeah. And so reductively, simplistically speaking, you would want to be really careful about starting something brand new during Mercury retrograde because it's not asking for that. It's asking for review and follow through, right? And
it's not saying don't. It's not saying you can never.
Correct, right?
Okay.
And in my readings and in my horoscopes, Melissa, I never speak with that level of like finality or determinism because it's a little bit more complicated than that.
Right.
The simplest, broadest answer is don't, but I don't think that's true for everyone, right? Your whole
because that's so definitive. It's like, how do you say no? What if you have to sign the house paper that day? Or you're going to lose the house?
Yeah, right. And then just because Mercury's retrograde, you're going to say, no, I'm not going to put in this offer,
I'd be like, where are you, Mercury retrograde? Where are you at? Because I just lost this house.
Come on. This is the market. It's crazy. No, I know. So technically you could, right? It would just ask for an extra layer of, thought and discernment. But if you were trying to complete something during Mercury retrograde, that's past due, right? Say you wanted to put in the offer on the house, but you avoided it, or you wanted to put in the book proposal, but you were procrastinating, then do it, right? It's a great time to finish and follow through on the commitment. And things can get a little like confusing and ambiguous, but again, I think if we just allow ourselves to slow down, don't overcommit and underdeliver, Mercury retrograde can be really effective. Yeah.
It can. Okay, so it's a real
totally.
thing. Guys, as someone who is just moving into her new home, let me tell you about Claire. This is so genius to me. Claire is a new online paint brand that makes paint shopping simple. We all want to create a beautiful home that reflects our personal style, and paint is one of the easiest and least expensive ways to totally transform your home and make it feel more like you. Claire makes picking paint colors easy and hassle-free. If you need help choosing a color, you can try Claire Color Genius. You answer a few easy questions about your space and your style, and Claire delivers a personalized paint color recommendation just for you. With Claire, you can find everything you need to choose a paint color and tackle your paint project with confidence without even leaving your home. Claire is a female-founded company, and its founder and CEO also happens to be an interior designer. She saw that the traditional paint shopping experience was outdated and full of hassle, and decided to create a better brand and a whole new experience that's just easier, more convenient, and definitely more inspiring. So for your next paint project, definitely you guys have to give Claire a try. It's so hassle-free. Go to claire.com/Melissa for 10% off your order. That's claire.com/Melissa for 10% off. What's the first thing you do when you wake up? Is it checking up on your credit score? I mean, I don't think so. At Chime, that's exactly what they do. With their secured Chime Credit Builder Visa credit card, you can start to build credit with your own money. Chime reports your payments to credit bureaus to help you build credit over time. Their members see an increase of 30 points on average. I mean, 30 points? It took me 10 years to get 30 points. All of this is with no annual fees, no large security deposits, or credit checks to apply. So start your credit journey with Chime. Sign up takes only 2 minutes and it doesn't affect your credit score at all. Get started at chime.com/Melissa. That's chime.com/Melissa. The Chime Credit Builder Visa credit card is issued by Stride Bank, N.A. pursuant to a license from Visa USA. Chime checking account and $200 qualifying direct deposit required to apply for the secured Chime Credit Builder Visa credit card. Regular on-time payment history can have a positive impact on your credit score. Impact to score may vary, and some user scores may not improve. Out-of-network ATM withdrawal fees apply except at MoneyPass ATM in a 7-Eleven location and at any Allpoint or Visa Plus Alliance ATM. Where did an astrology even come from? Like, do you know, like, who started, question. This is deep a little bit. This is probably a deep question, but like,
no, I love
who decided that this was a thing, and who decided that if you're born on March 21st, then your characteristics are going to be this, this, and this, right?
Right. Well, actually, so it's a combination of cultures from the ancient era, right? So we could say that astrology as we know it is a function of Hellenistic cultures, right? So we could also locate some of the earliest astrological artifacts to Assyria, which is modern day Iraq. So it has origins in the Middle East. It has connections to Egypt. It has correlations to Greece and Rome. So the Hellenistic realm, right? But what's interesting is that it wasn't really until the 1940s or 50s when the United States started to really popularize it because of a British astrologer who accurately predicted the royal family's changes.
Wow.
Right. So, yeah, no, we could go into this. And my friend Christopher Renstrom is a historian on astrology and has done phenomenal research into determining why it's popularized today. And you know what? Speaking of women, it's been an employment opportunity for women in times where women couldn't even open up a checkings account without her husband's signature. Women were becoming self-employed with astrology around kitchen tables with their girlfriends in the 1940s, 50s, and 60s.
Now this I
So
love.
yeah, right.
This I love. This I
And
love.
yeah, and
Gave them a
astrology
little
has
opportunity to have their own little business and to teach
100%.
people about astrology, which that's amazing. That I
Yeah,
love.
and in the early 1900s, an astrologer named Evangeline Adams, she had such a successful astrology business all over New York City that like Carnegie Hall rented her out like 7 rooms.
Wow.
And yeah, and Americans were eating her up during the 1930s because she was giving them hope during the Great Depression. And having a woman, a public-facing spiritual woman back then was unheard of. So astrology has a really, yeah, don't let me get started. And there's something in your astrology that is curious about history too. So just to go ahead, go
See,
ahead.
so that's what I want to say. I gave you all
Yeah.
my details. I gave
Yep.
you date, time,
Yeah.
place,
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
What do you got?
What do you got for me? What do
what do
you
you
got?
got? I gotta, what do you see in my life?
Yeah. Well, actually, what I wanted to say is yes, like you bring the fire, baby. Make no mistake. I don't know if this part was recorded, but when you walked in, you said, I told with the windows. It was so hot in here, right? I'm like, okay, Aries, turning the fire on. Okay. But what I also wanted to say is that you actually have a lot of earth in your astrology, Melissa, which can't be overstated or overvalued enough. So do you know what your rising and moon signs are or have no? Okay, so I'm going to share the screen. So I'm just going to show you this really fast.
Good. Show me.
Because I'm sure we want a visual representation. So this is your astrological chart, and you're actually a Virgo rising and a Capricorn moon. So those are 2 of the 3 earth signs. The other one is Taurus, right? And you have another configuration in Taurus. So you can see here on the left-hand side of the software, you have a very strong earth constitution, an earth quality to you, meaning you're not all talk. You are also all about the walk. You're all about reliability. You're all about a sense of say what you mean and follow through on your commitment. Because if I see a discrepancy, it's going to be really hard to win my trust back. Right?
Facts. That is me to a T. And I am weirdly organized. Let me tell you that. Like all of my ducks are in a row to the point of like something's wrong with me.
No, that's called a Virgo stellium. Now, let me tell you where I got that language from, right? So you have 3 configurations in Virgo. There is no zodiac sign with more attention to detail and organization than Virgo. Yeah. And it's not that Aries isn't organized, but they're just on the move. Like they got shit to do, they're moving, they're going. They're not here to like alphabetize their office and color code binders, but you get a lot of satisfaction from it when you do it. And you do appreciate a certain level of ease and organization, right? And that's your rising sign. So believe it or not, Melissa, other people, despite the fact that you're a public figure, they're not immediately going to pick up on Aries energy. They're going to pick up on Virgo, which is an energy that wants to maintain reliability, a sense of calm, and also intelligent, deep conversation, right? When I see Virgo in a chart, I know I'm talking to somebody incredibly intelligent. Even if they don't lead on to it, it might be a superpower. They might kind of keep it close to their chest because they don't want to reveal that they've been observing and watching the whole time, right?
Right.
But you have many markers of critical intelligence. And so additionally, that's your rising sign, right? So other people interpret Virgo when they first meet you. So just a person who is paying attention.
So is a rising sign stronger than your, like, does it give me the difference between rising sign and your sign?
Yeah, great question. Well, technically, it depends on what astrology you ask, right? So there's a bit of a debate about it, but I would say that they're all important, actually. So you're trying to always think about, Melissa, integration, not alternation. Integration, not
We're going to integrate together.
We're going to integrate, baby. And what does integrate mean? To make whole, right? Instead of like moving over here and moving over there. No, all about integration, right? But it's helpful to know that when other people first meet you, they're not going to pick up on that Aries fire force. They're going to pick up on a sense of calm, tranquility, problem solving, and acts of service. Right.
I like that. I love all my signs. I'm doing good over here.
You're doing good, baby.
I was born on a good day, but no, I think you're actually right because to first meet me, I don't come off that way, but then to get to know me, I'm I'm dancing on the ceilings. I'm the party girl. But
come on. Right. And that's the thing. I think Virgo rising is smart enough to determine like, oh, let me read a room here. Like earth signs are all about reading a room, just making sure that they're not swinging from the chandeliers if that's not the time and space that's called for it. But if it's time for a party, Melissa's showing up and showing out. Come on.
Then the Aries queen comes out.
That's right. And the gays always want the Aries queen to come out, but your Virgo rising is like, hold on, let me just make sure here. And then your moon sign represents what you're born as, and it's the crown jewel of the chart. So it actually it kind of locates your emotionality around things, right? So your moon sign is Capricorn. What do you know about the sign of Capricorn?
Not much. So fill me in.
Okay. So it's another earth sign, right? So remember, you have all 3 earth signs in your astrology: Virgo, Capricorn, and Taurus. The Capricorn moon is a person who theoretically really knows how to regulate their emotion and not embarrass themselves, right? There can be moments of breaking. There can be moments of like, oh, now I'm going to, you're going to know about it.
Yeah.
But there is this value on what psychologists would call emotion regulation. So you said, what came up for you around that? Go ahead.
I'm just saying the self-control. I definitely have that self-control aspect. Listen, I have all of these different pieces of these signs that really do make a great housewife for
New Jersey. Come on.
No, but it's funny because like everything you're saying, there is little bits and pieces of everything, right?
Yes. And you know what? To make it super deep and woo-woo, right? Like, of all the 12 signs, like your moon is in Capricorn. So irrefutably, you are here to honor and express the best of like a regulated, kind of controlled Capricorn. But there are going to be people that are watching that are like, I see some of myself in that too. And why? Because check this out. Every single zodiac sign is in your natal chart.
Wow.
So to say it kind of in a big metaphysical way, like we are one, we are each other. And astrology shows that here, right?
Everybody connects.
Everybody connects. So that's what I mean by like, no, I don't get along well with you because you're over here. It's like, no, that person's in your astrology. So you better look at yourself and examine what part are you playing in the dynamic you're not happy with? Because it can't all be them. It'd be nice, real convenient for you, but it can't all be them, right? So anyway, back to the moon in Capricorn, you are very regulated and you also value when other people are too. You're happy to hold space and provide a sense of empathy, but you're a solution-focused kind of responder. You don't want to sit and wallow in the ain't it awful. You're like, and what are you doing about it? Because you're not the only one.
Don't alternate.
Okay. Someone's a good student.
Hey.
It's all about integration, not alternation, and just kind of inspiring people to like say, hey, look, life is hard. And what are you doing about it?
All right. There's got to be so with all of my signs and everything going on, give me some bad about me. What's bad? What am I bad? What is not going to go over well with this Aries, Virgo, Capricorn girl?
How about this? No, I appreciate and now on some real shit.
All right.
Where do I show my ass?
Give me all my shit about me. Go
Come on. You blow smoke up my butt. Now what? No. So what I'll tell you, Melissa, is that every challenge that we have is on the same continuum as our strengths.
Okay.
So it's not that something is bad about us, right? It's that we have a challenge because it's actually a function of a larger strength. And that's true for everyone. Yeah, right. And doesn't that make sense? And then we can kind of take this thing. Oh, go ahead. What did you want to say to that? Go ahead.
No, that makes sense. That puts like a positive spin on it. So it's like there's definitely things that are more challenging, but it's not bad necessarily.
It's not bad because it's an extension of your strength. And we as human beings are responsible to recognize that we're works in progress, but we're also pretty whole and worthy as we are too. We're both, right? And astrology gives the language for both. So the strength of Virgo is that they're inefficiency radars, and they could be like, this is out of alignment over here. You need to fix that over there. The challenges, they can be a little critical and perfectionistic. Right. So it's a matter of
my God, this is me. If Joe were sitting in this room right now,
he'd slide me a 20 under the table and be like thank you. No.
Colin, if he had any complaint about me, and there's he'll say she's the cleanest, most organized, goes with the flow. He'll have a list like this of like positives and why he's happy he married me. And then he'll say like, that when I'm giving, like I criticize, like I'm a little bit critical, or like I'm a little harsh when you don't put something where I thought it should be.
Yes.
Or like if you came out of your room and you were in this outfit, now poor Joe, I'm just kind of like, if you come out of the room, I'm like, what
are you wearing, Leo?
Thinking? Like, turn your ass around. Like, and I don't have like a softness about it. I'm very much so like, how did you not know that this isn't working?
Right.
Like,
is there a mirror in your room? Because last time I checked, did you look at it on the way out?
No, but not just something like that. It could be like I can be critical. I feel like I can be. So I will say that this is all crazy. I told you I'm exactly what I said I am.
I love it. Yeah, no, you kept it real from the very beginning. Well, I'll tell you what you want to know is that, again, Virgo does have to be the one. Beyonce's a Virgo. And I love how in her documentary in Homecoming, she said, I don't want to move forward until I see my notes applied. So she's basically saying, I told you this is out of alignment and inefficient. And so I don't want to move forward until you correct what I told you to correct. That precondition has not been met. We're not moving forward until I see my notes applied.
Right.
That's Virgo.
And that's success too.
Yeah. And they have high standards, right? And just fun fact, Melissa, for every one critical thing that we say to our lovers, we have to complement that with 5 positive things. That's what I learned in couples therapy.
I like that. That's great advice.
Right. 5 to 1.
Yeah, because you make them feel bad for a second, or a little harsh. Then you have to say, like, but your eyes and your face, and you're so good at this.
Exactly. 5 to 1.
I like that, though. I think that's a good just marriage rule, by the way. That's an awesome rule for married people and partners and whatever. That's a great rule.
Yes. And I got that from the Gottman Institute. They've been studying relationships for decades. And then with the moon in Capricorn, so there's this quality of emotion regulation. You are calm under pressure. Like, if somebody was coming at you with a large scale problem, you wouldn't overreact and make a frustrating situation more frustrating because you can maintain calm, right? But you said it in your words perfectly. The challenge is when people do not do what the Capricorn moon expects of them, they can be incredibly harsh. Because there's critical, which is like kind of words, but then there can be a toneness and an approach in Capricorn moon that can be a little like, bam, a little punishing. And you're just like, whoa, where did this come from? Yeah, ayo, take it easy. Right, that's the moon of Capricorn. Go ahead. Did you want to say something to that?
Well, you posted a video too about relationships and that is it time to cut someone out, right? And I loved it because you really share tips to try your best to save something before you have to cut someone out. I love this. Talk to me about this.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, because you know what? I'm concerned that the popular discourse on relationship right now provides 2 options. Either stay together or I block your number. Or at least on social media. I don't know if you've noticed that, but
I know. And it really ties back into finding the good, right? And figuring out. Right. And the integrate, don't alternate.
Okay. And then how about, Melissa, like, what do you think that if there's a perfect person out there, they're looking for you?
Yeah.
No, I mean, right?
No. And like, that's just it. And these are awesome. These are actually really great tips for repairing like a broken relationship also.
Repairing. Yes, honey. Yes. Because that's what this is about. It's about relationship repair. The fact of the matter is, where there's love, there's conflict. And because we love one another, we're kind of subconsciously programmed to show each other the worst parts of our personality. That's the cost of admission for marriage and relationship. I wish it wasn't true. I don't know why that happens, but it's just, you want to play, you got to pay. So what I try to do with people is let them know there are other steps before you cut somebody out of your life to repair this relationship. Because I'll tell you what, if you're not going to learn with this person, you know how the universe operates. They're going to come around wearing a different pair of pants, and it might be a little worse until you get the memo that you're playing a part in this as well. So let's talk about repair. But to contextualize, I don't want to be too harsh. Like, we're living in really hard times and people are feeling stressed, anxious, depressed, burnt out, resentful. So like they can't handle just another relational dysfunction, right? So that's why it's either I'm with you and everything's easy breezy, beautiful cover girl, or I cut you off because I can't handle another stress right now. But we have to learn how to have tough conversations with people we love. Otherwise, we're going to set ourselves up for a lot of loneliness, I think.
How about the grass isn't greener on the other side? It's greener where you
Where
water
you
it.
water it. Okay, passing the Aries the water.
That is so
Exactly.
funny. If you've been experiencing symptoms and don't even know where to start, Everlywell is committed to listening and supporting your journey towards better health and wellness. Everlywell is digital healthcare. It's designed just for you and at an affordable and very transparent price. With over 30 at-home lab tests, you'll be able to choose the test that makes the most sense for you to get the answers that you need, like the woman's health test or a food sensitivity test. I mean, I took the food sensitivity test and I have finally found out what to take out of my red sauce. Everlywell also has high quality vitamins and supplements to support your overall health. Here's how it works. Everlywell ships products straight to you with everything needed in one package. It is so easy, guys. To take your at-home lab test, simply collect your sample and use the included prepaid shipping label to mail your test back to a certified lab. Your physician-reviewed results get sent to your phone or whatever device you have in just days. And you can share the results with your primary care physician to help guide your next steps. You guys, it's so simple. Over 1 million people have trusted Everlywell to support all of their health and wellness goals. And you know what? You should too. And for the listeners of our show, Everlywell is offering a special discount of 20% off of an at-home lab test at everlywell.com/Melissa. That's everlywell.com/Melissa for 20% off your next at-home lab test. everlywell.com/Melissa. All right. Well, listen, talk to me about this show that you have on Discovery Plus. It starts in November. I'll be tuning in because all of this, I really will. I'm very intrigued. I believe in all this stuff. I love it.
That would be great. Oh, that would be so great. Yeah. So it's called Written in the Stars, and it's produced by a British production company, which was really nice to just kind of see the way that Brits interact with each other. Right. I was the only American in the whole set. And so it's going to be on Discovery Plus US and Discovery Plus UK. And myself and two other astrologers, Michelle Knight and Francesca Oddie, we matchmaked certain couples and wanted to watch how they would develop. And it's hosted by BBC One journalist Clara Amfo, who I absolutely love.
Okay.
And it was incredible, Melissa, because from a research point of view, you know, many astrologers don't have the luxury of like matchmaking people and watching them interact on 35 different jumbotrons. You're in reality TV, you know how the production goes. So It was incredible to watch certain zodiac signs connect the way that we anticipated, certain people not, even though we thought for sure our hypothesis was correct. And it was really, I think, helpful to not just throw a bunch of singles in a villa in Greece, because that's where it was filmed, but actually like support them among the relationship stages in the sequence of learning how to love and receive love. Because that's what happens to these poor singles. We throw them in the shark tank covered in blood and say, okay, survive. Whereas like they're learning, right? And so that's what I really appreciate about how this show was done differently is we skill builded with them. We taught them. We helped them change the way that they communicate to connect. And honestly, I'm so proud of the results. It was done with so much integrity, so much education. And you'll probably watch going like, oh, I don't know if I relate to this. And then in 5 seconds, you'll be like, oh, I'm totally this person. Right? You're like,
so it's singles, it's dating, it's relationships. That's what it's based around. Yeah. Oh, I love it even more now. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, good. But how does the astrology kind of integrate with it? Do they discuss it on the show? Is that how it goes?
So that was really cool. Every episode we go into a different astrological topic, and the contestants were casted with zero astrological knowledge, right? So sometimes they know a little bit and sometimes they don't. So like the audience is not going to be left behind with some of the information that we teach them because the cast was learning at the same time, right? And then they kind of express and enact with certain actions and strategies without giving too much away what the astrological topic was that we taught them that morning. So it was like a full crash course, educational experience. And I'm really proud of the way that they responded because I'll be honest with you, I was nervous. I don't know how astrology is expressed in Britain. I don't know how, these heterosexual men who have never talked about sun signs a day in their life are going to react to me talking to them about their moon sign.
Right.
But they're
That's
like,
interesting alone, just to see the reactions of these people with like, wait, what are you saying? And
what?
see if they welcome it or if they're pushing it away.
And
That's
Melissa, we had
interesting.
no idea. We had no idea where that was going to go. Yeah. So
Wow.
you'll kind of be on the journey with us, with them, then us together. And it was, I'm really proud of the level of sincerity that was present here and just the willingness from the contestants to just experiment and see if there's validity to it. And there were a lot of skeptics on the show. They were like, I don't know about all this, and then you could see as they started experimenting and applying with it, their results changed. And they said, okay, I don't necessarily know that it's working or why it's working, but I know it's working. So what else can you tell me?
Right.
So I was so happy with it. Yeah, I can't wait to see it in its final edited glory. So we'll see.
I mean, listen, it sounds great. We're all definitely going to have to check out Written in the Stars in November.
Thank you.
All right, Colin, I have one final question for you that all of us can kind of take home and tuck in our pockets.
Okay.
So this is what I want to know. How can family members, friends, castmates, co-workers, how can we all communicate with each other just a little better? Do you have any advice for us on that?
Oh my God. I love this question. Can I ask you a question? And then I promise
sure.
us Jersey, Long Island girls, I'll swear I'll let you go, hon. One more thing, right?
All right. One more question.
One more
go ahead.
Right. Go ahead, hon. What made you ask that question?
There's obviously a lot going on in the world right now. And just to be honest, I'm always trying to communicate better. I am. Sometimes I feel like it's a hard thing for me. And I have so many people that I communicate with daily. And I have to be honest, like whether it be my envy girls, my employees at my boutique, my cast members, which is another job of mine, which is also castmates, which are then family members, which is then my husband who I just hung up with. And sometimes if I'm aggressive, like I honestly, I would always think that to communicate better is like you're scoring if you can figure that out in life. Right?
Well, Melissa, and I won't bore you with the details. Maybe we'll do this on a part 2, but there's so many astrological reasons why you would be saying that. That's right there in your astrology.
Is that right?
100%. So I love that you're expressing this. I was like, what would make you ask that question?
Yeah, I just think about like to myself, like if you're thinking about all of this communication, right? And I feel like a lot of what you talked about today, just in astrology in general, has to do with communication,
100%.
how you work well with this date, how you work well 100%. During this time, who you're with that day. Like there's a lot of communication things going on here.
Yes. And you're right. When we know how to expand our language, a whole world opens up to us. Second chances, new beginnings, apology, forgiveness. When we know the right words at the right time, what that will do to change the quality of our life. Right. So I love that you asked that. And what I'll actually say is it's not an astrological answer. It's something that I learned from an international relations scholar. But the idea is postpone persuasion until you can successfully articulate another person's point of view to their satisfaction.
Wow. Now that you're 100, right? That's so true.
Right, Jersey girl? Because what happens is
if I can explain why you're pissed off, right? And why you're mad without hurting your feelings and with you like me hitting the nail on the head as to why you are upset.
Correct.
That's communication right there.
Yeah, because you want to know, I'll speak numbers to you real fast. Our average listening accuracy from when other people are talking to us on a good day is 13%. So we distort in language, Melissa, 87% of the communication that we hear.
Wow.
And then we get into unnecessary drama, conflict, defensiveness, withdrawal, and attack and defend from 87% of stuff we didn't even see or hear. So we postpone the persuasion and we say, hold on a minute. Let me make sure I got this right. You're upset at me because of A, B, and C and 1, 2, 3. And then they could be like, no, I'm mad because when I left the house, I thought I looked good. Whatever Joe would say.
My outfit sucks.
Right. Damn, girl. Right. So a lot of us immediately go into persuasion. We go into convincing. We react from this place. And I just think it's helpful for us to acknowledge, like, wow, I'm distracted or I was juiced up about something else emotionally. I distorted this whole situation. And let me just make sure I got this right. Are you upset? And if we could do that, oh my God, the years that we would save of just unnecessary drama and the efficiency we would have in those moments to be like, hold on a minute, back that up. Why did you say that?
Right. Without a doubt, that would cure half of the problems that go on in relationships easily.
And I love that you mentioned that, because that's really what it comes down to. A lot of problems, Melissa, can't even be solved because they are a function of central personality differences. So there's no single
personally, like, and people would say that about the Real Housewives in New Jersey, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, let's
you want to talk about, my sister-in-law and I, with the way we go in circles for the last 14 years, a lot of that is because she can say A, B, C, and D. And I don't see one thing that she said. We're just totally on two different, I don't even understand it. She doesn't understand what I'm saying. Like exactly what you just said is literally what happens to us all the time. And it's like a merry-go-round of a circle.
Yes.
And when she speaks to me, it's gibberish, and probably vice versa.
Likewise.
Totally. And I disagree with every word most of the time. So that's a problem. And that's just me being honest. Like, so it's a problem sometimes with communication. And that's why I think it does make a big difference as to how you approach a conflict, right? And how you're going to like grab it and figure out how you're going to tell them, like, I didn't like this.
Yes.
Right. Because that's the key to it all. It really is.
You summarized it beautifully. It's just like, I didn't like this. I wasn't sure about that. And if we actually avoid those tough conversations with initiating around, I agree or disagree, I believe, I don't believe, I'm right, you're wrong. It's not about that. You want to get on the shared grounding of understanding. Do we understand one another? We don't have to agree and we don't have to believe, but do I understand your thought process? If not, let me clarify and fact check and ask questions.
Right.
But we don't do that when we're defensive and when we're juiced up and we feel like we're persuading and we have to convince you of your guilt. We don't do that.
Of course not. And it's obviously, it's a difference between someone doesn't have to be right or wrong and the understanding. If we can all get to that place, you should sit at the reunion with Andy Cohen sometimes and just be like, ladies, it's not who's right or wrong. We're going to understand each other tonight. Okay.
Yes. That's me and Andy, another Gemini boy. I'll try my best, but that's really what it comes down to. And I'm so glad you asked that question, because now your listeners can go, oh, how many conversations do I initiate from that approach of let me persuade, let me convince, let me help you see why
that
you're
I did
wrong
nothing
and I'm
wrong, right?
And good luck with that.
Exactly. Good luck. This is so true. Well, Colin, this has been so much fun. It really is so funny because really, you told me so much about myself and things that I feel like I thought, but I didn't know. And I was dying to talk to you about this. So, and I absolutely love the idea of integrate, don't alternate.
Hello.
I love it. I'll keep throwing it out there. And just like getting on this shared ground of understanding. I really do. I love all that. So make sure you guys, all my listeners out there, be sure to check out his new show, Written in the Stars. It's out in November on Discovery Plus. And you have an awesome podcast that we all need to listen to. It's called Good Risings, right?
Yeah. And I host the Rising Signs. Excellent. Yep.
Yeah. So thank you so much for coming on. I had so much fun with you today.
Oh, likewise. Thank you, Melissa, for listening with an open mind and an open heart and like structuring the conversation so that people listening can take something actionable with them. That was exactly how you had to do it as a host. So thank you for doing it.
Of course. I truly loved it. So, and you're awesome. So nice to meet you.
Likewise.
I'll be reading everything in Cosmo that you have to say.
Please. And every time I write Aries, I'll be like, hi, Melissa. I'll leave you
just
notes.
say, hey, Melissa, it's Aries day.
Remember the 5-to-1 rule. Compliment Joe 5 times. Yay.
All right, honey. Thank you so much. So nice to meet you.
Likewise.
Oh, before we go, Bree Poole, we have a little surprise for you. Here you go.